Am I the asshole for kicking my wife of over a decade out of the house? My wife and I were high school sweethearts, at least, that's the story I always told myself. We grew up together, moved out of our parents' houses together, got married, had kids, and built a life that I thought was rooted in love and loyalty, but it seems I was living a lie. Over the years, she cheated on me, not once, not twice, but at least a dozen times. Old flames, coworkers, you name it. Sometimes I only found out years after the fact, and for reasons I still can't fully explain, I always forgave her. I clung to hope, to the idea that people could change, but this week, she did something that I simply cannot forgive. It was Christmas, a time meant for family and togetherness. We had 3 separate celebrations to attend over 3 days, my parents, hers, and her grandparents gathering 2 hours out of town. I drove both ways, exhausted but determined to make the holidays special for our kids. When we finally got home, I thought we could finally rest, but then she asked, "Can I visit my best friend? She's really sad and all alone for Christmas." I didn't think much of it. I trusted her, still, somehow. Maybe I was a fool. She even said, "You can say no," but I didn't. I was drained from the day and told her to go, though I warned her I'd probably be asleep by the time she got back. She smiled and teased, "Maybe I'll wake you up with a surprise. I'll be home by midnight." Something didn't sit right. My gut screamed at me that something was off, so I reached out to her best friend, just to check in, but I never got a response. Midnight came and went. At 4:30 in the morning, she finally came home. But she didn't come inside. She lingered outside, standing in the cold, laughing and chatting on the phone. My blood ran cold when I realized who she was talking to, the guy she works with, the same guy she's been having an affair with all month. I confronted her. It wasn't pretty. Hours passed as I pulled every painful detail from her, my heart breaking with each revelation. I was back here again, in the same place I'd been too many times before, betrayed, humiliated, and angry at myself for trusting her. But this time, I wasn't going to forgive her. The next morning, I told the world. I posted the full truth on Facebook, shared it directly with her brothers, her friends, anyone who would listen. I wanted them to know the woman behind the mask. Then I kicked her out of the house. Next, I'm filing for divorce, for good this time. But part of me can't help but ask, am I the asshole for finally putting myself first, for protecting my emotional well-being after years of betrayal, or should I have kept this private and continued pretending for the sake of our kids? Am I the asshole for not sending enough essentials with my kids for their half-siblings?
I, a 33-year-old father, share 50-50 custody of my 3 children, an 11-year-old boy, a 10-year-old girl, and an 8-year-old boy, with my ex-wife. My ex is remarried now, and her household has grown to include 2 more children under the age of 3. But their life isn't what you'd call stable. They're struggling financially, barely able to meet the needs of their family, and everyone knows it. The courts know it, yet they refuse to grant me full custody. Instead, I'm told to step up, to do more, to ensure my kids are taken care of, even when they're not in my custody. So I do. Whenever my children go to their mothers, I send them with essentials, easy to prepare foods, extra clothes, toiletries, anything to make sure they're okay. But that's where my generosity ends. My ex has started asking for more, formula, diapers, toddler-friendly foods, things meant for her new kids. I ignore her. My responsibility is to my children, not hers. She and her husband have chosen to grow their family despite their financial struggles. They get plenty of help from others, and I don't believe it should fall on me to make up the difference for their poor choices. This came to a head over Christmas. My kids received nice gifts from me, things I'd worked hard to provide. They went to their mother's house with food and clothes, things her household couldn't afford. She lost it, accusing me of being petty and cruel, of deliberately making her youngest children feel lesser. She said I was creating a rift between my kids and their half-siblings, that I could afford to help and was choosing not to. I told her the truth. It's not my job to fix her mistakes. It's not my responsibility to ensure the children she chose to have with someone else are taken care of. That burden falls on her and her husband. She was furious, calling me cold-hearted and selfish, but I stand by what I said. Her financial struggles are her own. Her choices are her own. She brought those kids into the world knowing she couldn't provide for them. So, I ask you, am I the asshole for drawing this line, for refusing to do more for children who are not mine? Am I the asshole for not attending my sister's wedding because of her child-free rule? So, my 34-year-old self, and my 29-year-old sister, recently found ourselves in conflict over her wedding. She got married in a huge, fancy event that she had spent the past year planning meticulously. One of her main rules was that it would be a child-free wedding.
I completely understand and respect that. It was her wedding and her rules. Here's the issue. I am a single dad to my 6-year-old son. I don't have much of a support system, and his mom isn't in the picture. When I got the invite, I told my sister I would love to come but explained my situation. I asked if there was any way I could bring my son or, if not, if she would be willing to help me cover a babysitter for the day, since it would require an overnight trip. She shut both ideas down immediately, saying it was not her responsibility and that I should figure it out like everyone else. Fair enough, but I genuinely couldn't find anyone to watch him. I even offered to hire a sitter to stay with him in the hotel during the ceremony and reception, but my sister still said no. She claimed it violated the spirit of her child-free rule. Left with no options, I let her know I wouldn't be able to make it. She was furious, accusing me of being selfish and saying I should have made it work. The wedding went on, and I didn't attend. Now, my entire family is blowing up my phone, calling me an asshole for missing such an important day. My sister won't speak to me, and my parents are insisting that I should have tried harder or just left him with someone for one night. Am I the asshole for standing my ground and not going when I couldn't bring my son or find a sitter? Am I the asshole for screaming at my mom to wait fucking a minute? 7 times out of 10, I cannot go to the bathroom without my mom either yelling at me to open the door or banging on it. She fully expects me to immediately stop what I am doing and let her inside the bathroom. That includes walking with shit still in my ass to open the door before I can wipe. Why? Because she either forgot something, like her phone or car keys, or has to use the toilet herself, even though we have a second bathroom. I am on the toilet? She bangs on the door. I am taking a shower? She bangs on the door. I am doing laundry? She bangs on the door. I am washing my hands? She bangs on the door. It is exhausting. This morning, after breakfast, I told her I was going upstairs to use the bathroom, and she gave me a distracted MHM while staring at her phone. Well, I am sitting on the toilet, nearly done wiping, and she screams at me through the door to open it because she forgot something from the night before. Frustrated, I quickly finished up, washed my hands, and opened the door. There. I was not happy, and she saw it on my face. She looked completely confused and said, "What? I just lost it." I screamed at her that she has the patience of a literal toddler and that she needs to learn to wait a fucking minute. She got upset with me for taking that tone and went inside the bathroom to grab her hairband. Her hairband. I have told her before to stop banging on the door and to wait until I am done unless it is an actual emergency, but she keeps doing it. I feel like I'm going insane. It is so frustrating and annoying. Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for canceling my wedding over a family heirloom ring? So here is the situation. I proposed to my fiancé with my grandmother's ring, which is not only beautiful but also holds immense sentimental value. My fiancé loved it, or at least I thought she did. A few days after the proposal, she asked me if we could replace the diamond. She felt the current one was not sparkly enough for her taste. I was surprised because she knew the history behind the ring and how much it meant to me. I explained that changing the diamond would upset my family, especially since the ring had been worn by both my grandmother and my mother. I suggested we keep the heirloom as it is for special occasions and offered to buy a new, more modern ring for everyday wear. However, my fiancé insisted on altering the heirloom ring, saying it was her ring now and should reflect her style. I felt this overlooked my feelings and the ring's history, so I told her that if she insisted on changing the heirloom ring, I would have to reconsider our relationship. To me, it seemed like a reflection of our differing values. This led to a significant argument, and I decided to postpone the wedding plans until we can resolve this issue. Am I wrong for standing my ground over the ring and potentially delaying my engagement because of it?